You hungry? We got canid ribs, canid flank, canid snout too. Something I can help you with? You mean Zoe? Yeah, we were pretty close. Not like her to go loping off. Zoe was always obsessed with this cereal. Masked marketeer. A scion of Byzantium turns to banditry and teaches his marauder companions the wisdom of free market economics. Shame she up and vanished when she did. I had a surprise lined up for her. You sound like some type of corporate fixer asking all these questions. Zoe and I were gonna watch the serials, as is our... Can't say I recall Zoe ever acting strange. Well, except for her habit of writing things down on scraps of paper. She called it journaling, but I think it's just plain odd. Hey, I got time. Fresh off the limb, and that includes canid meat.
Сходили мне скидка. Стоп, 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 стоп. Блядь. Как я верну?
Something I can help you with?
Афинка. Стреляй.
Fresh off the limb, and that includes canid meat.
Чпокаем. Чего, чего? Букву С. Что это значит? Объясняй.
Moving. Sure.
Come here.
Да зачем ты это говоришь? А?
Что он уже сказал?
Ну?
Здесь.
Оно где лежало? Оно где лежало? Где оно лежало?
Да не.
Оно лежало в ванной на полу. На полу лежало? Почему ты это берешь в рот? Сюда, где я с тобой разговариваю. Ты зачем его в рот берешь? Оно грязное. Ты его мыла? Нет. Ты хочешь, чтобы у тебя животик болел? Тогда зачем ты его в рот берешь? Знаешь, что с пола нельзя было ничего брать. Так в чем дело? Все, успокоилась, Ны.
Контрол.
I always wanted to play that.
Короче, он только против людей нормально работает. О.
The control room should be off to the right. I hope we're doing the right thing.
Часть. Я же отсюда вышел.
Look out!
Сонь, уйди отсюда,
We made it!
Unexpected sweeping.
Here they come!
С оружием будут играть.
Three switches. That'll be easy enough. Nice one!
Assist searching.
Here they come! Nice hit! Everyone all right?
Halt.
No! Nice hit! Down they go! Just two more. What'll happen to Miss McDevitt's folk if we send power to the Vale?
Мне что там говорить?
Away, Phantom! Get away!
Mind the steam. You're liable to get scalded.
Sister, halt.
Here they come!
Lethality now reduced.
Well, that's gotta hurt. That's the last of them. Where'd they go? If we send the power to Miss McDevitt, what happens to Liv?
System beginning to...
Here they come! That's the last. I'm not sure what the ride is. Alls I know is the decision's final.
Phantom! Get away! Not real. You're not real. You're not real. You're not real. Get away from me, Phantom. Shoot. Scram. Don't you talk down to me, Phantom. Least I know I'm real. See? See, Higgins? This is why you must always boil your sprats before ingesting. Clearly, I mistook you for one of the phantoms of my imagination, which terrorized me on occasion. Chester D. Higgins. The D stands for definitely not insane. I use it as a reminder. Oh, Higgins has been many things over the years. Sprat Wrangler, Saltuna Critic, Aetherwave Personality, Chairman of the Board, Galactic Defender, Sisty Pig Tycoon. I've come a long way for someone who started off as a simple engineer right here in this plant. I specialized in automechanicals, drones, sentries, repaired them, maintained, upgraded, did it all from my old workroom just over in the next section. Jimmy'd opened the vending machines. That lasted a good couple of months. Eventually, I had to resort to more unconventional means of filling my insides. Braised, boiled, charred, skewered. Sprats are good eating, friend. Chock full of brain food. Mechanicals lost their bolts. Opened fire on anything that moved. It was pandemonium. I was on cleaning duty at the time. My old boss had me scrubbing pipes when the killing started. So, as usual, I missed out. Look, I don't want to fall into any trouble with the mechanicals. If they wise up to our plans, they will come for us. With prodding irons. You know, you remind me of myself back when I was an intergalactic adventurer. I discovered a flaw. Their hostility levels were hardwired to maximum. There's no changing that, but you could rewrite their targeting protocol so they attack each other instead. Yes, that's exactly it. I see you're also versed in the noble art of mechanical engineering. There's a behavior control terminal in the other room. It should have options to change how the mechanicals act, including whom they shoot at. Oh, that reminds me. You'll need my passcode to access the behavior control terminal. Here, let me just write it down for you. The tail. Definitely start with the tail. If you're feeling adventurous, the ears are a particular delicacy. Forgot what you were gonna say? Me too.
Там чокнутый. Ядовитый. Чего он забыл сделать?
Once we do this, there's no going back. Hey, mister? Look, I know you want your power regulator and all, but I just gotta ask you. Do you understand what you're about to do? I don't think you should cut off Edgewater's power. I think it would be cruel. I'm sorry. That just sort of came out all at once. Edgewater's hurting. We've been losing workers year after year, and corporate hardly ever sends replacements. There's barely enough Saltuna to fill our bellies anymore. But the town's got some good people in it. Decent, hard-working folk just living their lives the only way they know how. They don't deserve to be punished. Sorry, I didn't mean to babble on like that. I felt like I had to say something. Really? I mean, wow. Thanks. No one's ever told me those words in that order.
Быстрое перемещение.
Another day at the cannery.
I've always felt weird in here. It's too clean.
Yes, what is it? You're an outsider. Fantastic. Vicar Maximilian de Soto at your service. Or Vicar Max, if you're the sort who prefers brevity. And Ms. Holcomb as well. How rare to see you out. And with a complete stranger. Curious.
Just tagging along, Vicar DeSoto. Don't mind me.
I so rarely get new people to talk to. Name your poison, anything at all. Spiritual counseling, this season's tossball predictions, the quickest way out of town.
But what? I thought you would talk to him.
You wanted to speak to me, Ms. Holcomb? Every time I've tried to engage you in conversation, you look at the floor, answer in single words, and slink away. I can't imagine what would be so grave as to drive her to my mission. What has Mr. Thompson asked you to do? Depriving them of safety from the marauders and wildlife. I can see why that troubles you. Miss Holcomb has a soft heart. Always has, if you believe the talk. Assuming your goal is to save as many as possible, then you should bring everyone together. Send the power to Edgewater and convince the deserters to return to the fold. Not if things are left to stand as they are. If you don't mind a bit of unsolicited advice, be cautious on your way to the geothermal plant. It is not as safe as you might assume. The marauders I met when I ventured outside the walls might agree with you. Bastards snuck up on me while I was dutifully hunting for a banned book in a collector's library. Barely escaped with my life. But you see, one of the reasons, if you manage to acquire it for me, it's a handwritten. Thank you. Any progress on... Please get it.
Що мені? Чи нам попробувати ще раз? Ідіть.
Anything else I can do for you? I am getting old, you know. My dear, we are all visitors in a momentary universe. Me and mine. I can't stop you from conducting your business down at the plant. I just want you to know that if you take our power away, you will have brought... Not under Reed's watch. He and I would come to blows within a day, and he would never tolerate my tending to a garden. This is my home. It will be my home even if Reed cuts our power. Simple as that. That's because Reed was my boss. I was the cannery's one and only flavor specialist, you see. My son worked in that cannery. When the plague started coming, he was one of the first to fall sick. We had a store of medicine locked away, but Reed refused to treat him. Said my boy didn't deserve treatment. Said the medicine would have been wasted on him. So I buried my boy in the cemetery, gathered my belongings, and left. I could not possibly care less if he does.
Ясно, баба. Вечные обиды. Еще людей за собой притащила. Ох, ну ты чё там людей перебанит назад.
Heard something outside the walls today.
Кажется, это не будка. Face.
If you could see your way to getting us our power back, I'd appreciate it. Go ahead. Adelaide was our only flavor specialist. We are a Saltuna canning institution. Saltuna without flavor is like a cysty pig without tumors, borderline inedible. Were it up to me, friend, I'd stack our larders with Saltuna galore. No other brand of Saltuna adds as much vim or vigor to the body's humors. But, and this is something we must keep between the two of us, Saltuna is hard to come by, what with being a species indigenous to the seas of another world. Oh, we've scavenged together some organic material from the surrounding environs. Mostly organic, mostly local mushrooms. Some of which possess a texture akin to a well-boiled slab of Saltuna. The difference is all but impossible to detect to any but the prissiest of palate.
Гуманист, короче.
Go ahead. Can we not? Talking about unpleasant things always gets my bile up.
Это катоны.
Show up to work, put in your hours, wear a smile. Problems of the body come from problems of the spirit. Work improves the spirit and fortifies the body. And where do you suggest we find this magical panacea? Can we pan for medicine in the stream? Medicine is a rare and precious commodity. If you demonstrate you have earned the right to be treated, you will be treated. Otherwise, you must heal yourself. If I had enough medicine to treat everyone who fell sick, I would, but I don't. I can't save everyone. So I have to choose. Adelaide's son was barely competent. I treat him with our medical rations, and it looks like I'm playing favorites. Now, I will not pretend to understand the suffering Adelaide must have felt on account of losing her child, but she is not the only one to have felt such suffering. I wish she had stayed with us. Adelaide left us when we needed her most. That I cannot say. There was no moment when the plagues began. Disease always lurks on the fringes of society, waiting to infect the idle and the lethargic. But in the last 10 years, the plagues have become progressively worse and increasingly frequent. Corporate doesn't like us using the word should. It encourages the imagination. I believe plague is a test. It is a test of our loyalty and our fortitude, and it is one we will see through to the end. Go ahead. That you are not one of us may work to your advantage. Adelaide and her folk loathe the people of Edgewater, you see. I admit the fault was mine. I'm about as diplomatic as a bristling canid. I just hope Adelaide and her folk will see their way past my flaws and return to town. Scripture tells us we all have our purpose in the world. Our work shows us that purpose. We should not have to move on from it. Yes, we have lost good workers to desertion. We have lost even more to plague. But it is why we must square our shoulders and carry on.
Что это значит?
Something you need? You mean about the mission being too clean? I know, but Vicar says the universe is a machine, that it runs by law. The machine Vic... Fic...
Криповая.
Oh, that's Thomas. He used to follow me around before he left the cannery.
Keep your wits about you, friend.
I'm listening. That's not but no need to. Are you? That sounds like fever talk, all right. Where did you say? I could do without the mockery. If you don't want to tell me where you're from. Is that a new settlement of some kind? Oh, you're talking about that old piece of folklore. Now I'm convinced you're delirious. You really ought to lay your head down, dear. Babbling only... You ought to try some of my purgative tea. Won't cure... Maybe I do. Listen. You carry on about coming here from another world, and people will talk. Talk leads to questions. Ask enough questions, and the board comes answering. I'm listening.
Охренеть. И что выбирать? Красавчик.
Okay, keep him quiet.
Here they come! Get them! That's gotta hurt. We're not getting through!
I don't know anybody who ever came out this far.
Абсолютно такая же херня.
Wow, you crossed them all off, like some sort of heroic accountant running down a list. Teach me your ways.
Zoe.
What, you mean Adelaide's little congregation of nature-loving nobodies? I could not possibly be less interested in them. You, on the other hand, you were a sight to behold. If I had half your skills, I'd be the greatest outlaw the coast has ever seen. I'm great at clarifying. No? I insinuated myself into their company, see? And they didn't seem to mind one whit. I may have bartered them a few boxes of Adrena time, but yeah, I'm sure that's got nothing to do with it. I don't know. The vital processes that constitute the miracle of life are mysterious and unknowable. Oh, you mean around these guys? The Marauders wouldn't hurt me. They love me. I'm practically their queen. Yeah, it must be my natural charisma. I got kicked out of Edgewater on account of falling sick with plague and stealing some medicine to treat myself. I'd heard some outlaws set up camp in the botanical labs. I decided to throw in with them, seeing as I always wanted to be an outlaw myself. Instead, what do I find but a bunch of former workers camped out around a greenhouse? I couldn't just go back to the cannery, so I was stuck with them. I've got all the time in Halcyon. Why? Adelaide wants me back on garden duty or something? Thanks, but I'm not going anywhere. This is where I belong. And no serial dramas. I've been thinking about going back. I just gotta know if Lord Cavendish really is the masked marketeer. I'll take my stuff and head on back, I suppose. Grace is gonna be glaring knives at me, so I've got that to look forward to.
Heads down.
Застрял.
I'm ready for this.
Права. Савчик.
What is it? We didn't always get along, but I'm glad to know she's safe. What happened, anyway? You pretty much did my job for me. Least I could do is pay you for your trouble. Let me know if I can do something for you. I don't know what you did to talk.
Штука.
I'm listening.
Had your rations yet?
Yep. 2 whole cans of tuna.
Space.
Move along.
I'm not allowed in here. Not since the vending machine incident.
Holcomb, got my eye on you, girl. Miss Holcomb ain't allowed in this establishment. Not since that little incident. Ask her if you care. I'm running a business here.
I won't touch anything while we're in here, Mr. Moreau. I promise.
Go right ahead. Plague? I don't know anything about a plague. We are the very picture of hot-blooded physical vigor. I take umbrage with your choice of phrase. We ain't sick, we're rugged. Some of us who get sick are liable to exaggerate the conditions of that sickness, but survival of the fittest. It ain't just the law of nature. Medical treatment is commensurate with our value to society. Spacer's Choice will dispense medicine for the indispensable worker. It is better than fair. Listen, you mind if we talk about something else? Rambling about company policy. Plague. You have got the wrong idea about me. I've got nothing. Some of us who get sick are liable to exaggerate the condition. Spend enough time in the Spacer's Choice family, medical treatment is commensurate with our value to society. Then the hand of medical science will not grace you with its touch. Listen, you mind if we talk about something else? Music.
Конечно, еще попнуть.
You're not a big drinker, are you?
Oh, I almost forgot. I'm contractually obligated to... You tried the best, now try... The Hope? No, I've never mixed it. Wait, no, never mind. We're all out of... Yeah, I got vague recollections of some folklore about a mysterious colony ship. You feeling a bit flushed? Look, why don't you go set yourself down? Would you keep your voice down? The Hopes, you're in... Look, either shut your gob or stick a drink in it. We're done talking. Coming right up.
Wish we had some better rations.
I've never actually been in here.
Welcome to the Spacer's Choice Constabulary. We are Halcyon's leading... The office is writing up promote... Anthracillin. I appreciate... Sealed, packaged, and delivered to a Spacer's Choice storage facility. Standard procedure for contraband, you see. Medical treatment by Anti-Cleo's products is strictly prohibited under Spacer's... I distribute this medicine to our workers, and we're all complicit in a crime. If you are one of our workers, I would be obliged. You are, of course, entitled to your compensation. Something. As a Spacer's Choice constable, know how to carry yourself in a fight? Cross them off and... His likeness decorates many a wanted poster. Do you have any relevant information about this individual? You are correct. An outstanding bounty has been posted for information pertaining to the whereabouts. Unfortunately, the arrest of Mr. Wells falls outside my authority. I enforce the company policy. Wells is wanted by the board. If you have information related to the location of Phineas V. Wells, you are required to submit that information to your nearest board authority. Any information regarding outstanding bounties and wanted criminals should be directed to Mr. Udom. Halcyon's original... Something else? Something to report.
Been eating nothing but salt tuna for a year.
This is where... where the magic happens. Well, science. But it still happens.
Yes, Mr. Thompson. I'm fine, Mr. Thompson. Never been healthier. Whoa, well, you tell Mr. Thompson I'll be right at my post. Tomorrow. Bright and early tomorrow. Because I'm... And what are you doing here? Visiting? Well, let me... Silas knows, doesn't he? That's why he sent you. That's why he wants me to pay up. He knows. I'm dying. I'm not long for this world. The date of my expiration is fast approaching. And soon...
Don't say that, Mr. Abernathy. You still got a couple decades in you.
I'd steer clear, Ms. Holcomb. My affliction's bound to be contagious. It's plague. Has to be. Silas knows. He knows I got one foot in my grave, and now he wants to charge me for the other one. I am? Law, help me. Paranoia is one of the plagues known. I'll pay your fees. I don't want any trouble from Silas. But... there's a cache of anthracillin tucked away in the old community center. I need... I know that, but I got... Reed would have wrote me up. Constable would have locked me up and wrote me up. Could have gone. You what? But why? I was Does it feel good? Robin and...
We can handle this. You got him! Got him on. Nice.
friend of mine died a couple weeks back. Still ain't past it.
Huh? I know how you feel.
Work fortifies the spirit. Any progress on that? Wonderful. This is fantastic. Well worth all the sacrifices I... What the fuck is this? It's a law-forsaken joke is what it is. French. Ha! I was so high and mighty, preaching to the yokels about following the plan, while... Overreacting? Do you have any idea? I've spent my life searching for the keys to unlocking the secrets of the universal equation that underlies the plan. I had hoped this book held some of those answers. Yes, you're right. Such are the workings of the equation. But that's neither here nor... You have a ship. Perhaps I could make myself of use to your crew. Certainly. I'm pretty handy with a toss-ball stick, or any blunt instrument, really. I'm also a passable gun hand, if it comes to that. Oh, I'm fairly competent at hacking computers as well. Well, understanding computers is, though I admit I took it further than most. And I was quite the 32nd back during my... Of course, I'm a vicar who is dedicated to his calling. More dedicated than any other you'll find in this colony. But instead... It's the journal of one of the originators of the Philosopher's School of Thought, though it would be more than a century before... Philosophism's a false religion that stands in contradiction to almost everything, but most of that came later. Fantastic.
Edgewater's gonna miss you. Folk here always had good things to say about their vicar.
Thank you, Ms. Holcomb. I'll be glad for the change of scenery. I shall see you on the ship, Captain. When...
Almost lost a finger in the cannery today.
Don't let the boss catch you seeing it.
Something to report? We pay by the finger. Gil Antrim. I remember him. He was just a kid. I'll just... Still... You've done such a bang-up job. Let me stop you there. It is official Spacer's Choice policy that all Marauders, regardless of prior affiliation to the Spacer's Choice brand, no longer qualify as our people. Marauders are folk who lost the will to keep working, wandered out into the wilds and gave into their baser instincts. Not everyone's cut out to work in Edgewater. Some turn deserter, some turn Marauder. None of them get my sympathy. Everybody likes adrenatime. It is the finest medical drug ever developed by Spacer's Choice. Much better than that crap anti-Cleo pedals. Sure, a little too much adrenatime can bring out the violent animal in you, but if overdosing on adrenatime turns you into a lunatic, you have only yourself to blame. Says so right on the warning label. Violent psychosis is a well-documented and legally accounted for side effect of adrenatime. What's on your mind?
Been eating nothing but salt tuna for a year.
I cut my own hair.
What? Oh? Am I in the company of a You may... whether... Go ahead. The plagues come at us with a vengeance. I wouldn't call them good workers, Fever, chills, fatigue, aching, vomiting, an excess of phlegm, a tendency... Company policy, friend. We don't have enough medicine to treat... Mr. Thompson's brainchild. Have you met him yet? Thoughtful-looking fellow, stares out of his office. Edgewater has been good to me. I am never wanting for work, not since the plague started. As the good vicar says, work fortifies the spirit of a man. What?
I've got some time. Oh, I'm an actuary. That means I keep tabs on a worker's living expenses. How much it costs to feed, clothe, shelter, bury, and replace your average human work. Technically, I'm employed by the Spacer's Choice Department of Human... You think you're tough waving that thing around?
You the new worker? Whatever. Make it quick. Foreman Granger, mind those words don't come out of your mouth and... Shit. Silas still on about that. Here, take the fees. Because they're not my fees and not my gravesite. Guy I worked with shot himself. I paid the bill. If you're not familiar with board law, law requires delinquent gravesite fees to be paid by the deceased party's closest living relative, which meant me. Shame, though. Eugene woke up one morning and put a round through his upper story. Can't imagine why. The kid was doing all right at his... Just between the two of us, I'm pretty shocked his weapon didn't misfire. Spacer's Choice handguns aren't the most reliable. Not half as awful as the bill Eugene left us with. Suicide's a crime. The legal term is irreparable damage to company property. What Eugene did to himself... I'm plenty serious. In fact, I'm a little upset Eugene did... In other words, Edgewater would have been penalized pretty hard. Whatever Eugene was worth as an asset, we would have had to pay out of pocket. Look around. Edgewater ain't exactly swimming in luxury. We can't afford to pay the body price of a suicide. All I know is Silas asked me for Eugene's gravesite fees, which means he was approved for burial, which means his papers went through, which means the town's in the clear. I'm just glad to put this whole ugly affair behind me. Eugene can rest his bones in peace.
When I was little, we'd get freighters in every Sunday noon.
Thank the law. I've been requisitioning backup for months. Guess the boss finally came to his senses. You ever swung a truncheon? Let me see your rifling stance. I want to make sure you're up to snuff. The war! The coming apocalypse! Man versus machine! I'm talking about... That's right. Auto... When the swarms of I've been gathering up... enlistment fee. They have sent a scout, prowling around the junkyard just behind our beloved town. This scout must not be permitted to return to its base of operations. I told Silas I'd pay my dues if he agreed to join the resistance. Guess this means he's finally heard the calling. Mechanical repellent! Oh. I'm Ludwig Miller, Associate Security.
Wonder if the plague's ever...
Had your rations yet?
Whatever it...
Lovely to see you about, Miss Parvati.
Things going all right, Silas?
Been keeping him careful and true, miss. Best to ask her.
My dad's buried here. Silas watches over him when I can't leave the house. Oh.
Something I can... You run into any... Conrad's barbershop is a yawning pit that swallows his every bit. I keep telling him he should cut a few corners. Skimp out on the disinfectant. You gotta put the squeeze on Conrad. Find some dirt on him. Maybe check his back room.
What can I do for you?
Sometimes I wonder what I'm doing.
Hmm.
What can I do? You know about Eugene? You probably heard it from one of our local Eugene's golden teeth were a family heirloom, representing 3 generations of poor more than a few. I can't.
Are you asking rhetorically? Because if you're being serious...
Desperate measures, Miss Holcomb. I'm going to have to ask Silas to dig up those teeth. The good Vicar Maximilian. Here you... Eugene was not a suicide. He put a bullet in his brain, yes, but that's largely a technicality. I was the one who prepared Eugene's body for interment. I discovered symptoms of the plague on his corpse, and I discovered medicine. Eugene overdosed on adrenatime, which is known to cause psychosis and paranoia as possible side effects. We can all thank our lucky stars that young Eugene was hopped up on medication. I included it all in my official report. I'd like to think I saved Edgewater a great deal of money. We never could have...
Grave diggings. Yeah? Yeah? Well, yeah. That's what I'm contractually... Yeah. Funny thing, Eugene's body ain't where it's supposed to be. The night we was supposed to commend his body to the earth, I had his grave all dug up and ready, right? And so I thought, I'll just rest my eyes a bit. When I woke up, his body was gone. Spirited away. Vanished. The footprints nearby suggest... Suit yourself. Something You run it. Reliable. Abernathy was sick? With the plague? That's disgusting. What? No. If I knew he was sick, I would have had him reported. I needed his fees because of his name. A for Abernathy. He was at the top of my list, you see? And I'll buy you a...
Wish we had some better rations.
If you're hungry, I could open up a can of something. If you need to go, I'll wait outside. Oh, you like flowers? I can't find many kinds around here. My dad's... It's an office. Just... I don't like coming out here. People on the streets. Yeah.
Searching for repair bay. Error.
I could probably fix that. I mean, if you... Yep, I see the problem. His nav mod got dislodged. Must have taken a tumble. Just gotta give it a good push and wait for the click. There we go. Jeremy's good as new. Well, new by Spacer's Choice standards anyhow. His name's Jeremy, by the by.
Navigation systems operational. Optimal path toward repair bay detected. Initiating self-diagnostics.
On account of I fixed him. And he's Jeremy on account of his helmet. It's like Jeremy, the officer in True Romantic Tales of... Hebs Shirley. Be more careful out there.
Self-diagnostics initiated. Please do not disturb. Self-diagnostics initiated. Please do not disturb.
You beat that scout to scrap with its own legs? Pulled its optic cables? You're a passing cantina, lavatory. Behind... Sharp, ain't it? On the double, soldier.
Yeah. That's on account of how... It's hard to... She was in another her contract... Well, I don't know about normal. It's sensible. Dad just fixed machines. She did some kind of crazy math, high level... In the bar? When I asked if you... There was a kind of a thing with a vending machine. Sure, but folks got long memories around here. I've always been good with my hands, right? So I saw a lock on the machine and thought, oh, this must be how they refill it. But I had to know. So I did my thing, and next thing I know, there's a couple hundred bottles of 0G rolling out the front door and into the road. It's not funny. Right about then, a bunch of loaders came rolling in the gate, fresh off the Saltuna. And Mr. Thompson was up on the porch making a speech about how everyone would have to volunteer a third shift to get it all canned. And exploded all over Mr. Thompson. One bottle after another. I was just shy of working age, so Dad had to pay all the damages. Moreau's still angry at me. I can... Sorry. Strong drink makes me sick. And it makes me real sad. Well, never mind that. You got... I'm just not everybody. from me.
Шутка какая-то.
Ready when you are.
You ever...
Where are we headed? was quick.
One of us want to go see what happened?
Zoe says she fought her way out of a marauder camp with her own bare hands.
Marauders can't...
Adelaide's okay.
I know, I'm trying to think. That's the thing about growing old. Your eyes start to fail. Elsewise, I would have seen. This is all you're doing. Cutting off my power, killing off my garden. Without refrigeration, I want to ask you this in private, away from the eyes of my flock, so they do not... You want my flock wasting their lives in that cannery? Go talk to Grace and you tell Reed Thompson that I will never return to Edgewater. I would rather... You offering to cross Reed off, huh? This some sort of twist? Kill Reed if you must, or talk him into leaving if you can. He and I are not sharing the same four walls. Tell Reed that I can make his people healthy again. I can end their plague. Start a new garden right in the cannery. 3 square meals for... Tell him how I've made the Vale bloom again. The soil. The secret is human... I have got a means to cure the plague, and I will not share that cure until Reed...
Whoa! Miss Parvati. Hey, you're, what?
Are you,
Great! Just great! I've been trying to keep stuff running, just like you.
Oh gosh, no,
I seen you... Fact is... take all the help I... You ever heard of the...
Those are good. My dad kept a copy with him when he was working in the cannery.
I know the old community. Would you... I've been thinking about going back. I'm not much used to it. I get sick thinking about work. I mentioned those manuals on mechanical engineering. Suppose if I had one of those, I could go back to Reed and make a real case for... What's on your mind? Luck, most... Well...
The matter's been weighing on me. Zoe came back, but I couldn't keep her from slipping out in the first place. I don't see us lasting more than a couple of weeks out here. I'm loath to admit it. Listen, we go back to Reed, hat in hand, begging for our old jobs back. Sure, suit yourself.
What's eating you? Funny thing, I was working on a logic module just before the mayhem started. Security Chief...
What's on your mind? I paid his burial... Didn't anyone ever tell you not to go rifling through other... Yeah? Well, disabuse your... Never mind. What's on... Yeah. I don't understand. I found Eugene's body. I know the guy shot himself. He was plagued? Oh, law, that's awful. I helped carry his body out. I could have been infected. This is all a little too much for me to take in. But I guess if Eugene wasn't a...
No kid. Look at... I've... You know. Well, don't keep... No kid. The Jeep? That's a
I'm glad we could help, Thomas.
I've been saving something for... Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out... I've been thinking about... I get... You know something? I think you're... I could do a lot of good in it. It's just... You know where to find...
Put that away. This is a fine day, friend. Power, I trust that. Then we are at an impasse. Stewardship over this town has been entrusted to me by space. I am not perfect. I have made my... I am a Spacer's Choice man. My father was a Spacer's Choice man. Edgewater may... I don't believe you. Plague's a reality of... You are disparaging our We are a Spacer's Choice Saltuna. I don't understand. The soil's gone. You'll excuse me for being skeptical. How exactly is Adelaide growing crops in barren soil? And when you say... What a remarkably efficient solution. Recycling Spacer's Choice property long after its date of expiration. I was wondering about those You're right. I am being obstinate. If the best thing I can do for this town is to stand down, if Adelaide's found a way to feed her people and cure the plague, then my life here is ended. Give me a little time to settle my affairs. Huh? A couple months ago, I might have put in for a transfer. It's a big colony. Spacer's Choice has other towns. Now, I couldn't.
Look at that. I never thought I'd see the day that Reed Thompson... Suppose it's time. You're vexing to me, and... You're telling me you did all this just to put me in charge of Edgewater? I might turn that old cannery into a garden. Got ourselves a whole cemetery bursting. I need some time to gather my personals. Look.
Gotcha. On my way. He's just... I'm just... Oh, gosh. Listen to me babbling. When I was in Edgewater, I dreamed I'm the only decent mechanic Edgewater's got, but every time I think... That's just it. I don't think they need me. What they need is a good mechanic to treat Bess right and change her compressors every now and again, but... I want to ask you something, and you can say no. But... can I come with you? I could tend to your engine. I know my G-valves for my cat, and if you ever need a pair of eyes, what? Yes! Captain. I can call you...
Well, I certainly am looking forward to flying on a ship named the Unreliable. I'll just head upstairs and claim a room.
Captain, I have detected. What can I do for you, Captain? Do you know how to install a power regulator? Outstanding, Captain. Your aptitude for engineering will prove invaluable in the... Our engine room is located behind... What can I do for you? All systems are operating within. I am prepared to bring the unreliable into low altitude orbit. I have received a communication request from Dr. Phineas Wells.
Aha, there you are. Hale and hearty and... How are you feeling, by the way? I lost track of you in that cave back there. Experiencing any, unnatural... What you saw in Emerald Vale is happening all across the colony. Food shortages, lack of supplies, and basic necessities. We're dying. The chairman, the minister, and all their lackeys on the board are to blame. The Hope has some of the brightest minds Earth ever sent us. If we can revive the Hope's colonists, they can help us undo the board's mistakes. They can help us set things right. You need to get to Stellar Bay on Monarch. I have contacts there. They'll help me, help us, find the chemicals to revive. Gladys Culkelly, lovely woman, runs a cozy little black marketing outfit on the Groundbreaker. She can get you a nav key to land on... In theory, I suppose you could land your ship in Cascadia, and in theory, I suppose you might. Cascadia is utterly seething with dangerous, highly... You'd have to be a lunatic to land in Cascadia, and I'm reasonably certain I tested your brain for incipient... Gladys and I have been doing business for years. Her smuggling credentials are unimpeachable. If anyone can get... Without a skip drive, good luck. You'll be dead before you make it to the nearest star. Look, I admire your optimism, but the sad truth is you're stuck here. You, me, and the rest of this colony. We're all skating prick. None of us are Captains don't... The board's been... Excellent. I call it... Excellent. And the board...
Transmission ended. If We've arrived at Phineas's orbital lab.
Hello? Can you hear me? Does this work? Oh, damn it, blast, that's loud. I'm just securing my ongoing experiments. And securing myself. Mind the mess. I haven't had a visitor since, in fact, I've never had a visitor.
Oh, thank the law. Your skin hasn't spontaneously changed color. Potential side effect of the... Right. Welcome to my little, habitation, such as it is. I've got, caffeinoids, cysty... So, welcome. Make yourself at home. Oh, balderdash. You... Still... Of course. What's... Oh, it's not you. I do experiments in that room. Some of them get quite scientific. The unexpected is to be treasured. Regardless, it's quite comfortable in here, you know. Oh, goodness, no. I wouldn't survive 10 seconds in the blackness of the aether. Well, no, I imagine I'd last at least 12 seconds before I'd lose consciousness. I enjoyed the occasional aether wave drama in my youth. Not anymore. To answer your question... Because we've lost our way, the board has a stranglehold over this colony, and we've all been conditioned. The Hope is full of specialists, scientists, engineers, talented individuals like you. People who haven't been... Unfortunately, the Hope's colonists have been frozen for decades, well past your shelf life, so to speak. No offense. Ah, you begin to perceive the truth. Yes, according to the board, 10 years. That's how long the average human can remain in hibernation. You were frozen for decades. In theory, you never should have survived the revival process. We'll do our very best to see. I'd best get back to work. Armored glass? Not bad, eh? Careful, that's my communications terminal.
Captain Hawthorne used to be more dashing. Want to be a brand new you? Try out our respecification machine. Alex installed it himself. Right before he died. Destination reached. The Groundbreaker.
You got a minute? Hey, Captain. I heard that Groundbreaker's got a real good engineer. A lady named Junlei Tennyson? I was thinking that maybe I ought to meet her. I don't got much experience Thanks, Cap. Did you... Mostly, yeah. I lived in the maintenance office. It's not normal. And yep, I
Just checking your ship, Captain.
Hey, Captain. I'm in space. I never thought I'd be able to say that.
That's not the point. This halfwit just knocked out one of my workers.
I wonder what that fella did to get the board so wild at him.
Customs and inspection, right this way! Identification, please. Captain Hawthorne, you said. Let me apologize in it. According to your ship's record, you've been flagged by the board. Your ship will be impounded until such a time as they see fit.
But we've hardly been out of Edgewater long enough to get in trouble.
Now, hold on. This isn't the end of the world. You'll want to take it up with Udom Bedford. His office is located along the starboard wall. Access to that information is above my pay grade, and I shouldn't be mentioning if I had to take a guess as to why. You take the star. Oh, and Wanda Dorset. Much. Is there any? The fence. You'll find her in the rest and go. Make sure you bring it. You noticed. What can I say? All their interest. Folks around. You sure you didn't just step off one of the interstellar freighters? There's no working with the board. They don't share. Not bits, people, or resources. You work for them, or you don't work at all. Groundbreaker cooperating now would be... It's a delicate... They got it. We push them...
The board wouldn't do that. Would they?
It's a tough line to walk, no doubt about that. Sure thing. Be seeing you.
Hi there. What can Groundbreaker secure?
I picked up this weird signal the other day. It was coming from Monarch.
Here we go again. No one lives on Monarch. It's a wasteland. You were hearing things.
No, seriously. There was a lot of static at first.
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following story. The board would like to remind spacers and other travelers that passage to...
Purple Berry Crunch. Tripicale Flakes as purple berry flavored power nuggets. Now with 12% more crunch.
You know, that's... I got a full...
The news packet had the toss balls.
Go back to Byzantium, you gold-plated bastards.
I'm just gonna hang in the back and try not to touch anything.
Ah, yes. Wheeler messaged me you were coming. You must be the captain of the Unreliable, a vessel that used to be helmed by one Alex. Has something happened to my favorite scruffy freelancer? Oh no, this is terrible. My dear friend, Oh, Alex. He was my dearest friend. My only friend. You have his ship, you must know. That picture of us on the promenade, me hugging him, him wincing. I keep a copy beside my bed. Did he? It must have been lost with Alex, then. One more tragedy to top the... Tell me. Oh. Awful business, that. But why... How... No. Right. You're going in... There. I've removed the flag from your ship. I'm terribly sorry for the inconvenience. Alex promised to tell me the location of Phineas Wells. I'm sure you've seen his wanted posters all over the colony. Did Alex tell you where Wells might be? Anything at all? You haven't read the posters? He's a terrorist, a thief, a madman. It's really in the colony's best interest that we stop him before he does further harm. Well, Alex knew, or he said he did. And you have his ship. Maybe he kept some records around, or... That's... Well... Oh, I'm sorry. This is terribly unprofessional. It's personal business, I'm afraid. I don't intend to be. It's... Information on the whereabouts of Phineas Wells would go a long way. It's... well... It's fine, really. Now, if you've nothing else, please...
Have you seen this man? Reward offered for information leading to the capture of noted terrorist Phineas Wells. Report any sightings to your local board embassy. C&P chicken and potatoes. At C&P, we know our C&P.
I'm not going anywhere, you hear?
Oh. What? Heard of it? My orientation aether wave showed that famous Saltuna cannery, which I'm sure smells as good as it looks.
Yeah.
That's a spacious choice, Spear. Take what you have, polish it. So, what can I get you? Some soap? Have a look.
Bless my heart. A stranger come knocking. You here for a particular... Those have been the height of illegality since Stellar Bay turned their noses up at the board. You and I, lucky for us, Groundbreaker's a free port. We're outside of the board's control. For the time being, at least. Now, I only... Phineas, that old kook. He was quite the dancer back in his prime, did he tell you? Real light on his feet. Real light on the wallet, too. He still owes me a small... Well, I find I'm in need of a... Do you know Edna, over in engineering? Sweet as a pea, that one. She sent me a recording of a curious thing is... If the more... Don't forget to come find... Anytime. Gracious. I've got a lovely little...
Hey, you got a second? Hey, we don't know each other yet, but I'm Felix Millstone. I was in the middle of a little discussion with the local... I noticed your ship in port. Got to thinking you might be looking for some crew, so I wandered by, just to take a closer look. Gotta hand it to you, boss. That's a fine-looking ship. Only thing it's missing is me. What? No. Okay, yeah, maybe a little. I'm not trying to be all creepy like. Just give me a shot. That's all I'm asking. I could be the best damn crew you ever hired. Oh, okay. Well, sure, I can be myself. You're looking for crew, I'm looking for a way off this port. So we've got something in common. And yeah, I know I came on a little... Sure, an interview. Are you kidding? I love a good fight. One time, I took an autoloader's head. You can count on me in a scrap, boss. That's a promise. I had this foreman, right? He's a Spacer's chosen man, though. So when the chosen beat my range... That's when I broadsided him with a tossball stick. Yeah. Look, this was a long time coming. Guy thinks he can push me around. Well, former dock worker. Guess I just tendered my resignation. Foreman told me my biggest problem was that I didn't take orders. I told him my problem is not with authority, it's with jackasses. So yeah, I guess my biggest flaw is that I don't suffer idiots. Wow. Thanks, boss.
You got a crew now, Felix.
Ah, your face is a sight for sore ocular processors, Captain. Or rather, your headgear is. Welcome back, Captain. How... The unit is a cleaning SAM. Hawthorne brought it on board some cycles ago, I'm sure with the intent to modify it. But I've never... Alex likely recorded progress notes detailing his efforts to modify SAM. If you check the terminal in your captain's quarters, we may be able to determine what work remains. Yes, Captain.
There's viscera and death everywhere. Gunfire, gnashing teeth. The unemployed. What?
Captain, we are now capable of accessing the Roseway landing pad. Certainly, Captain. What would you like to... Now playing a Spacer's Choice advertisement jingle.
It's not the best choice.
Everyone in Halcyon is contractually obligated to label this or an... As you wish, Captain. May luck be with... We're now in orbit above Roseway, Captain.
No guards, huh? I like this place already. That had to hurt.
Captain, something hit them. Something with more teeth than is strictly necessary.
Please, clear the roadway. Obstruction of commerce is punishable by a fine of no less than 10,000 bits. Warning, passing obstruction.
Heads up! Hit! That's one down!
Organic materials detected on roadway. Please ensure.
Hey, that's got an on fire. Wasn't that bad?
I done had enough of this shit. I'm just the fucking... Alarms went off, wraps broke loose, and I hightailed it in here. Oh.
Oh, you aren't with the Outlaws? Oh! No, they got the carpet in here. It's just a minute. Oh! You're still here. If you haven't already, you might speak to Anton. He can point you... No, they got the carpet in here. It's just a minute.
Let's take a look inside.
The ventilation shaft runs from the bottom of the left.
Hey, boss. Can we get some Rizzos?
Top of the hill's Raptidon territory. Sit down.
If you've come to end my life, let's... Yes. Anton Crane. I must apologize if my call diverted you. I, may have panicked. An attack. One that I'd wager was due to the nature of my research here. I'm not at liberty to discuss the nature of the work I'm doing here. Suffice.
Captain's got your best interests at heart, mister. Honest.
I suppose it can't hurt. If I don't get that research back, my life is over regardless. We were tasked with formulating a new and improved dental gel. One cannot exaggerate the benefits of good dental hygiene. While doing research on enzymes specific to the Raptidon, not just any diet toothpaste. Oh, I'm certain it could be made into that as well. Let's focus. Nice, is it not? Came up with that myself. Hours ago, a group of vicious malcontents fell upon us. Shot up our... If those cretins... Yet, the lab's entrance is in the side of a hill. You can't miss it if you just follow the road. You'll pass by the town's original... by the Grand Architect. Jameson. He's in the old... My...
I don't know about Dr. Crane's research, but we ought to find Mr. Jameson. He's got to be all alone and scared.
You picked a hell of a day to visit. I'm Vaughn Cortez. Dr. Vaughn Cortez. Over in the main labs. We've been cooped... Sure. Loyal company fella. Look,